What's up, YouTube, and welcome back to Detox Proxy. I got up early this morning, even though I had a cannabis cookie last night, and I am just like so groggy, but I wanted to make this video and kind of planned for it. Over the past few years, I've done a lot of self-help and self-therapy, learned a lot about these topics, and really pushed myself to do a lot of the things that I learned to try and make some self changes. I'm by no means any type of therapist, and I don't want to promote myself in that manner in any kind of way. What I can say is I have learned enough about these subjects that I've made some significant changes in my own behavior and my own lifestyle. Now, personally, I owe a lot of my progress to those high dose mushroom trips I was going on for about 8 months. I was pushing myself to some extreme limits, and I certainly pulled back the veil. And it's what happened to me during that time that really started to open up the door to spirituality for me. Now, I've been agnostic since the age of about 16. That's kind of when I figured out what it was. We didn't live in a religious home by any means. My parents never went to church. They did try and put me and my sister into Sunday school for a while, and I just didn't really understand what was going on and what they were talking about. And eventually, I think it was me and my sister that actually asked my parents to stop going, and they stopped taking us there. I just didn't really, at that age, which I don't know, maybe 10 or 11 or so, I didn't understand why people were following religion. Now, our family in the home, it certainly held Christian values. I know once my grandmother was visiting us, and for whatever reason, she caught me saying the word hell, and she slapped me so good that I knew I would never say hell around my grandmother again. Little did she know that my mother had, bought a printed t-shirt for me around that time that actually it was like a Bart Simpson t-shirt, and it said, "I'm Bart Simpson, who the hell are you?" If my grandmother had seen that, wow. So by the time age 16 had rolled around, I had this geography teacher, and he explained that he was atheist, and he explained what atheism was. And at the time, I kind of felt that my belief system was very in line with that, and kind of said that, well, I'm an atheist. Shortly after, probably within months, I kept on kind of reading into a little bit of that kind of thing and discovered that I was likely agnostic. And I've lived as an agnostic from the age of 16 up to about a year and a half ago. I just never really had anything substantial to show me that there was anything else out there beyond what we actually see in this reality. Now, that all started to slowly change as I began taking larger and larger doses of magic mushrooms. That 14-gram trip video that I have posted on my other channel, that one was so significant that because I had like this type of out-of-body experience, and it made me really start to wonder, is there more to all of this? And a trip after that, an 11-gram trip that was after that, I was getting like direction and purpose, and it was so significant that I just assumed there must be something out there that's trying to help, or that is giving me some type of answer. Now, after having so many profound experiences, realities can start to break down a little bit, and it was doing that to me. I wasn't taking enough time to actually integrate everything that I was learning and seeing and feeling into myself and absorbing it. I would just try and rush into the next experience, and that can be very problematic if you're doing something like that. Regardless of the integration, though, what I was really getting out of those trips at the time is that we're just one giant organism, and it constantly lives and dies and lives and dies, and it's always just constantly consuming itself. Matter dies and goes into the ground, and eventually life sprouts from that matter. It's just this constant cycle. Gaining this knowledge about the world really made me want to find out how unworldly it can actually get. So over the same time frame that I was taking a lot of those mushrooms, I started to research and investigate DMT because, I'd heard about it on the internet. I didn't really know anything about it. And as I was able to acquire some and give it a try, because I couldn't really get it to work at first, doing this all alone, that eventually I got it to work. Now, to be perfectly honest, at the time I was still a moderately developing psychonaut. I had only tried a few different psychedelics, not a variety, and gone to some pretty deep places, but I was starting to realize that DMT was a whole nother beast. The learning curve to using it's a little bit different for sure, but slowly but surely I was falling into Wonderland and having some very profound experiences. Things that I, would like to talk about, but you would just think I'm a crazy person. Very bright and colorful, jaw-dropping at times, things that I've never seen before, and I haven't seen since, that's for sure. Now, certainly more often in the past have I used DMT compared to recently, but in any case, I always blindfold or at least close my eyes. And unfortunately, one night I decided I would take a hit of DMT, and some way, somehow I got tied up doing something else, and I came back to it, and I think I added a second dose, and the glass bowl that I was adding it to for my vaporizer had already had encrusted DMT in it. And the first hit, I could certainly taste it, and the second hit, I was already feeling effects. And as far as I know, I took a third hit, but after that third hit, I don't exactly remember what happened that first little while. Now, that third hit of DMT was so strong that I either blacked out or I just don't remember what happened in the beginning of the trip. What I do remember is regaining consciousness. First of all, just wondering where I am and what's happened to me. I start to imagine that it's a dream. I'm starting to think I am dreaming. I'm actually sleeping, and this is some kind of weird, strange dream that I'm going through. And then coming to the realization that, oh wait, I took DMT, and I'm in Wonderland right now. So now I have all this imagery being flown at me, and I'm starting to wonder, like, how long have I actually been here? As that thought starts to process, I go into full panic. I'm thinking to myself, like, holy shit, I've been in this trip for like half an hour. I'm not ever gonna come out. I'm gonna be a fucking vegetable for the rest of my life. And through struggling through all of that panic, it was then that it really happened for me. I had this understanding, like a message come to me that we are only human. This understanding that there is a great amount of information that we just don't understand, and that the likeliness of something more is indefinite. I thought during that trip that I was dying, or that I might have died, and I really got to see that it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. The main thing that I really pulled out of that trip was, when my time comes, it comes. I'm very glad and grateful I've made it to this point in life. I've had a lot of great experiences and accomplishments, but it forced me to have a lot more respect for mysticism, the unknown, and basically the rest of the universe. There's so many things that can't be explained that I've seen and felt and heard, that has changed my entire perspective. So for me, I do feel that psychedelics are just one of the ways that a person can be able to see part of the spiritual side of the universe. One can have similar experiences through meditation, and that's just just another practice that I've taken on since that event happened to me. Now, some people like to go as far as saying they've discovered that they are God, or that we are all God. That's still bringing a little bit too much religion into the aspect of the idea for me. I like to think of it as we are, in comparison, cells to a body. We're all just bodies on a planet. And the more I think about it that way, the more this all makes sense to me. So usually I have this whole giant outro, but all I'm going to ask is you guys just give this video a thumbs up. And peace out. I will see you next time.